Oh, that's good. Right, let's get into this. Welcome back to the Lawrence McKenna channel. It's good to have you guys. 20-1 in the Premier League. You guys can use it to skewer me at some point in the season. You guys can use it to back me at some point in the season. There were plenty of people who got things incredibly right last year, but also incredibly wrong. And I think we're going to venture something which may be wrong in this video. Welcome back. It's good to have you guys. Don't subscribe just yet. If you like what you see, then please subscribe at the end of the video. But before then, why do that? Look at the trajectory of the team we have in 20th. You gotta love them. And I think there's going to be some big plucky moments from Luton. I think there are going to be some moments where they surprise some people. As an away trip, it's not particularly a pleasant one, but it's also not hard geographically for some guys. So that kind of works against them. Sometimes you need something that is a little bit more, oh, this doesn't seem nice. But that trajectory is impressive, right? Like if I bring that up and we look at that maybe in isolation, you see them climb. I mean, really, the chart should sort of go more up. Like I feel like these need to come down. Obviously, the yellow is fantastic. That means there's a championship in there, or at least a cup, or a trophy. A trophy, yeah. Yeah, trophies in the league, cups in the, yeah. What's the difference? Is it open top? No, it isn't, because the FA Cup. Is the FA Cup open top? No, it's closed. It doesn't make any difference. Right, and then they slowly climb their way up. They were then third in the Championship last season, and they've gone on this summer to reinforce, should we say, but I don't feel that they've ever really gone absolutely crazy over any of these transfer fees. Obviously, probably because they can't do that, but also, I'd imagine because there are elements of you just want to remain continually improving. But that continuous improvement, there's a big gap between there and the Premier League, right? But they bought some solid guys. I still think they're going to finish 20th. Not much different, by the way, to Paul Heckingbottom and Sheffield United, who have also been climbing up the leagues. I mean, in a less sort of good cycle, and actually, you know, technically they went down that year, but you get my point. Like they went down here. They didn't go down here, though. But he kind of took over there. You know, you can see where it was going before. Still not sure I've got confidence in those as just the arrivals over the summer. Not huge. They finished 19th. I don't think either of those views are harsh. They might be a little basic. Sure, it's basic to say the teams that come up go straight back down, but we've got to kind of tier them in some way. And weirdly, I think, you know, last season this was the kind of Bournemouth area. Some teams made changes, but Bournemouth made one vital change, and that was manager. And tactics in this league really matter, which is why there's one side in the bottom three that isn't from the promoted sides. And that is Wolves. Wolves, I think, really struggled last year to prove that they had a long-term sustainable strategy in the Premier League. That was probably, again, a managerial choice rather than anything else. And I think if you look at some of the players that they bought in over the summer, if you spend 50 million on a striker, good luck to you. If you spend 11 million, but then there's a load of free transfers, and then all of these are just end of loans, and then you look at the outs, look at the outs. The outs are bigger than the ins. Ruben Neves, not. Do you need him? Most probably. Raul Jimenez, another big leader. Connor Cody, obviously not a leader from last season because they loaned him out, but you get what I'm saying. And the same for people like Nathan Collins. There are some names in here that you just kind of want to see stay. Like there might, I'm not saying there's going to be a void of leadership, but I don't feel like they've brought in many people. Matt Doherty is not a bad one, but I don't feel like they've brought in many people where you sort of go, oh yeah, that's the reason they stay up. And it kind of feels similar. I was kind of in this band of people, right? This is my band here. Wolves or Everton. That was where I was making the choice between. Because look at that. They've gotten rid of Moise Kean, 18 million. Ellis Sims, would have thought they might have kept him a little bit longer, but maybe there's just no place for him. Yerry Mina, a terrible exit for him. You need that guy. Anyway, you know what I mean though, like over time, the mean of the graph goes down, the data don't lie when it comes to relegation. Probably could have done the same for Wolves, but the data don't lie. Over the long term, we still think of Everton as about here. Do you know what I mean? Oh, that could get into Europe this season. And Sean Dyche and everyone else could probably have gotten some really good results along the way. But that's not the point. We're not in a really good results industry anymore. We are in a long-term sustainable growth industry, which is why I probably got more faith this season in either of these two than I do in these guys. Even though the brand new Tesco that Everton are building looks fantastic. It's a joke. Their new stadium looks great. Next up, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. It's weird I can't send to the screen here. This guy is going to keep these guys up. They've signed a centre forward. Possibly a good thing if you're going to lose Mitrovic. Calvin Bassey, nice signing as well. In fact, I love that signing. Possibly could have been one of the top fours. I love those two basically. And then they've had some of the outs not cool. Gazaniga's gone. They've also lost Sessegnon, they just let go. I think what they're doing here is they're clearing house a little bit. They're kind of moving on. I think they'll have a solid season. I don't think any more than that. This guy needs something to go on that's good. And I think he'll finish just above those positions. Can I justify why Fulham have stayed so low down the league? I just think there's been so much disruption over the summer. I think that disruption will continue until the end of the window. The whole Mitrovic thing that wandered on. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's move up to the next position in the league. 15th, I've got Nottingham Forest. Do you know why? That, my friends, is a weird summer. I think Elanga's going to be a hit at the club. I think that obviously you've got a load of vendor loans there. Don't really pay attention to those. But I think Elanga's going to be a hit at the club. You didn't need to add to a squad that was already grown. He's probably had a bit of time to bond together. You've got Gibbs White types that I think are just fantastic. And I think they're becoming a more solid Premier League team. Why this happened, no one knows. But why it happened, doesn't matter. It happened. And that's what makes me happy. Crystal Palace finished just above them. Not quite sure why I can justify this. They're big outs in the summer. Sorry, I'm going to go for the big outs first because the big out sits just over here, another one as well. And I think also, you have to acknowledge that without a club, Milivojevic and also James McArthur down the bottom, one retired, one just without a club. Anyway, the guys coming in, if you're willing to spend 20 million on a Flamengo player, that player better been good, but Jefferson Lerma, pretty decent one, like him as a player overall. Overall, not enamored with the summer that they had, really think they needed a top-class striker to take them over the edge. They may still sign someone before the close of the window, which, by the way, is also the case for Sheffield United. If Sheffield get some investment, which they possibly are rumoured to do right now, possibly within the next week or so, you might see them rocket up the table and that completely changes things. They could finish in a similar position to your Forests or your Fulhams. But they've not got the investment yet, and I've got to go on what I see. Not a great pre-season for Crystal Palace, but not a bad one either. Getting a good result against Lyon. Lyon, consistently, people just keep convincing themselves, I loved Lyon when I went there. I love it as a city, but do something else, mate, you know? Anyway, here, not great. And yeah, some strange results, should we say, in pre-season for those guys. The graph just tells you they're just going to consistently sit between 14th and 11th. Where'd I put them? 14th. The next up surprise, should we say, is because of the transfer. Look, these guys, right? It's the manager, it's the way they play, it's the fact that I'm probably overestimating them in some sense. Just look at the signings. I know there's some free transfers down there and end of loans, but all these guys have got, hey, where did this guy come from? Written all over them. When you sign someone from Basel, when you sign someone from the under-21s of Man City, when you sign someone from Gladbach, when you sign someone from obscure teams within Europe or teams who tend to have better technical proficiency than other teams in Europe, you're going to do well. Good luck to you, Burnley. Some Burnley fans are just absolute morons. One specifically. But the others, brilliant people. Really enjoy what Burnley are doing this year. Anyway, should we move on a little bit? West Ham, I've given away too much there. West Ham, what's the reason that West Ham are going to finish 12th? I'm not quite sure, if I'm honest. I'm starting to regret my decision now. And you're going to regret this when I put him in here. They've let go of Declan Rice. West Ham are too high. West Ham should actually be, let me just do this. Look, West Ham should actually be sort of there, and I've messed that up. I think last season, it was plastered over by that European win, and I've made a mistake here. I've been taken in. I don't think West Ham are going to finish that high. Can I change it as we go? I can't because I've made the screenshots now. I should have thought of that. I think the two reasons I think West Ham will finish much lower than this, but as a good shock, there they sit in the table, are they've lost their best player. They've barely made any investment. They might get Broja from Chelsea, but they're going to lose Skamaka. They've lost some really good players. They've still got the same manager. Do you get what I'm saying? Inertia is an element in the Premier League. You need it. That's why Brentford are going to solidly finish 11th this year. Losing a couple of their big guys, obviously they've replaced a bit of the strike force they needed to up front when they don't have Tony, and that back line without a goalkeeper in Raya, who they'll probably be very reluctant to let go of, needs to do some more work. Like the distribution from him, what you got with him was really key, and I think this season we may see them struggle because of that. But good luck to them. I think they're going to do well. That's pretty well. I'm starting to regret putting those two there. Do you know what I mean? I kind of just went on reputation. Shouldn't have done that. Some decent signings, though. Got a centre-back in, got a right-winger in, and Mark Flecken, getting them in, 30-year-old goalkeeper. Someone's got to do it. I should have put these two lower. I should have put Burnley higher. I think I should have put Palace a little bit higher, if I'm honest. I think I should have also put Forest. I think I'd actually swap at this point Forest and West Ham. Is that reasonable? And maybe even put Fulham a little bit higher. But it's only now I'm recording the video that I saw this. I'm just saying, there's bands to this stuff and people stick within them. I'm kind of a winner of another band. Let me go at the halfway point here. This is halfway. Bam. Like I said, a couple of people can move around. But you kind of get my point. Going a little bit higher up the table, AFC Bournemouth. Very solid towards the end of last season, but not the same management team they had before, but pretty decent signings. When you sign Justin Kluivert, when you sign Junior Traore from Sassuolo as well, you get what I'm saying? There's just something going on at Bournemouth. I like it. The owner seems to have the right kind of investment idea. Obviously wants to get a return. He needs to rocket them up the table as fast and quickly as he can. He's willing to make cutthroat decisions. Boom. Bournemouth in 10th. Definitely above Brentford. Definitely above others. I think Bournemouth are going to be solidly Premier League this season. Next up, Brighton. That is a big transfer list. Some real quality in there though. Dahoud, Milner, Igor, Pedro. They've spent some good money this summer and got some smart, shrewd signings in. They may also lose Mitoma if Man City are interested. They may also probably lose Caicedo. That would be a big loss. But the system overall is still a winner under my boy. So, I think they're going to finish 9th. That's 9th, my friends. Anyone from 9th up, we kind of get into a position of, you know what, these guys could just chop and change. But you let me know in the comments below. Have I got that horribly wrong? I think I've got this middle bit horribly wrong. I'm kind of regretting it now. There's a bit of an existential crisis going on. Next up, Tottenham. Can they keep hold of Harry Kane? Even if they can't, I love their did I put their preseason heat map in? Yeah, I did. Look, the preseason heat map, Udogie, fantastic down this side. Look at what you do under an Ange Postecoglou, and the same on the other side for Emerson Royal. But look at the two overlapping wingers who he's trying to empower out there. 21, Kulusevski, number 7, Son. In the middle here, you've got James Maddison. And you know what? Move Kane on, mate. I've been saying it for ages. Move Kane on. He's a fantastic player, but moving on. And I think the loss of him this off-season could be a big change. Kulusevski obviously in. I think Pedro Porro is going to be interesting. There's a lot of interesting players in here that I think you can say, what can we... I wanted to see Ndombele do something. I wanted to see, there's plenty of people that you could argue, would be great. I'd love to have seen Jed Spence come back to the club, but it's not going to happen, is it, immediately, especially not under Ange. Next up, a big surprise for me. Newcastle United. This was not a good enough summer for me. They had to improve. They had to add depth. They were already flagging towards the end of last season due to the quality that they were playing and also due to the fact they were just tired. Tonali, a fantastic signing. Quality over quantity is always good. Long term, I think maybe they won't regret this. But short term, Harvey Barnes and Sandro Tonali coming in, these guys must be cooking something. Don't get me wrong, I think Anderson has stepped up in pre-season. A lot of Newcastle fans having a go at me in the last video for saying, hey, maybe they could upgrade him at some point. Very promising youngster. I misspoke and I'm sorry. I didn't express my point properly is what I'm saying. Tonali coming in is huge. Whether he's happy at the club? The gym was bigger in Milan. But Newcastle are a great fan base and a great team. They've loaned out Minter straight away again, and Chris Wood is obviously gone, as are a couple of these other guys. They've let go of a couple of people in the summer who were kind of more championship-y, and I think that's going to, in the long run, free them up to make some good investments. But this isn't enough. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's just the exhaustion of Tuesday or Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday or Wednesday, Sunday. Do you get what, you know what I mean? Now we're getting into this kind of crunch area, right? And I kind of, you know where I'm going with this. Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa are going to be the darlings of the Premier League this season. They bought these guys in. They bought in Yuri Tielemans. They bought in Diaby. They bought in Torres. They wanted to spend the money on these guys. That's all 88 million euros combined. A free transfer for Tielemans. Pre-season, they've not lost one. Pre-season, in fact, they've dominated some other sides. Pre-season, let him cook. Good evening. You'll get the best out of your manager if you invest like Aston Villa have invested. And guess what? Aston Villa are going to invest similarly to your Bournemouth types. Solid investments, people they can probably get some value in the market for, but also people that are going to solidly keep them in with a shot of getting in the top 6/4, which is now where we are. Have you enjoyed it so far? I haven't. I think I've messed up. But I did this on instinct. This is pure instinct here, guys. All these charts are pure instinct. Let's go and see who I think finishes top 4. Team that just miss out, and the team that I love this season, the team I think will acquire one more striker, and I think maybe just make a couple of adjustments, Chelsea. Bam. Look at the names they've cleared out this summer. Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, Kovacic, Koulibaly, Pulisic, Mendy, Loftus-Cheek, Ampadu, Kante, Azpilicueta. That is a starting 11, my friends, of people, possibly not the centre-backs, but starting 11 that could do pretty... Would they stay in the Premier League? Maybe just. But you get what I'm saying? If you can move those players on and you can afford to, and you've got the young, quality wing/striker types, you need to fix your midfield. Maybe you still make an upgraded bid for someone like a Caicedo. Al Hilal and Al Ahly made huge differences to people's summers. And Etihad Club. Etihad Club. All I'm saying is, wow, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in Marseille is a marriage made in hell. Although I'd still go to Marseille, I'd love to see him play. I think it'd be fantastic. They seem to love ex-Premier League guys who can knit together. Bring him in. Look at that. He's clearing house. Pochettino is doing something special. I was very conflicted over who I thought was going to finish in the top 4 here. And believe me when I say this, I'm trying to be realistic rather than hopeful, which is why it leads me on to my next choice here. Yes, I think Liverpool finish in the top 4, but do they finish outside of the kind of, contender spaces? I think the rest of the window is yet to tell us that. If they can bring in 2 more signings, I think they'll bump themselves up 1, maybe 2 spaces. But they haven't so far. They haven't struck. It's going to be a busy 48 to 22 to 79 to 1,000 hours for Liverpool between now and the end of the window. Good signings in Szoboszlai and McAllister. Sepp van den Berg is gone. Calvin Ramsey on loan. Reece Williams gone. Just go with me here, all right? Getting back into the Champions League is key for Liverpool. That cements position, it cements money, it cements all these kind of things. They can build on from there. Not making the Champions League may have given some people some excuses to not buy some more players this summer, but top 4 is very solid. I don't think it'll be by much that they miss out on this next band of people. And the next band is Manchester United. Do you know why? Look at that for a set of signings. Onana, Mount, and Højlund. 3 quality signings. Mount, been fantastic in the midfield, but you know what else he's opened up? Bruno Fernandes and his passing range. By the way, Johnny Evans, genius. Horrific stuff in pre-season, but genius. Anyway, that is some solid signings. Onana changes them fundamentally. Rasmus Højlund, I think, will help change them fundamentally. He's not going to be the same as when you sign like a, Wout Weghorst or something like that. Not that I'm looking down on him, but we know getting rid and moving on David De Gea and bringing in Onana, bringing in Mount, these are not small tweaks. These are key players within big parts of the movement. The movement systems in the Premier League at the moment require these kind of players. All three of those tick those boxes. These are a zeitgeist set of signings. 1, 2, 3, possibly iconic Manchester United players, and that's why they've paid big for each of those this summer. Could have paid even bigger if they had different owners. And now, to the top of the Premier League. That's right, my friends. Shouldn't have done that, sorry. I kind of try and cover up the fact that I'm wrong with fake YouTube charisma. Too milky. What do you make of City finishing second? And therefore, you get what I'm saying. City second. They've signed some great players. Gvardiol, Kovacic. They moved some other people on. I think they may still move some other people on. It's not necessarily a happy dressing room to be there. I'm not saying they're unhappy all to be there, but things are still a little tense, should we say, at Barcelona right now. Why? I don't think they've hit a lot of their subjects that they needed to this summer. I think they're still looking to hit other people. They've gone into negotiations with a few other teams. Could they still get Caicedo? Could they still get a Matoma? Could they still bring a couple of people in? Most possibly. Could they loan Cole Palmer out as kind of a make weight the other way? Loan, I say, not sell. I just think, and here's my logic, that leaves these guys top, right? Great summer for them. Declan Rice, Havertz, Timber. Balogun came back from his loan, but anyway, I shouldn't have read any further. Those three are iconic signings, each three of them, right? Those three, actually, this one here is a big change in the Premier League midfield. Granit Xhaka was an enforcer before. Now, I don't see Declan Rice as an enforcer. I don't see Odegaard as an enforcer. I think, to an extent, they've lost that element of scariness that they needed in midfield, but they've also lost. They've gained an element of leadership whilst they've lost an element of different kinds of leadership. And that's why these guys are crowned champions. This is a do or die, now or never type scenario for Arsenal for me. They need to strike now before Man City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, Newcastle, Aston Villa all improve and get better and make it a lot more difficult. Now, I get it. The defence of Man City will be fantastic this season. And actually, through most of the formation we saw against Arsenal and a couple of other teams in pre-season, they can be slightly more conservative. That's great. They will frustrate other teams. Pep Guardiola is playing Pep ball. They're possibly even going back further towards what they did at Barcelona than they are recently at Man City. But I still think that over the course of the season, I mean, Man City are probably going to come good and prove me wrong. You know, who am I? I think Man City will miss out to Arsenal. And the reason being these three signings, they're iconic. And that is why my Premier League table, that is why my Premier League table looks like this. My friends, can I justify everyone? No, because I changed some of them midway through. Newcastle, I think, will be higher. Villa, I think, will be about there. Tottenham, I think, could be higher. Brighton, possibly higher. But not everyone can make it in there. There is a bit of a mulch, and your signings will dictate a lot of that. It was this bit here that I was sort of disappointed with. That middle mulch where these guys, those guys possibly drop a couple of spaces. These guys, those guys possibly come up a couple of spaces. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. That's one of a few tables that I could have drafted. But I've done this on instinct, purely because it made it more fun. It's really nice to chat to you guys. I've tried to give some logic. Am I wrong about Newcastle? You can tell me what I'm wrong about. You've picked it out already. I don't need to brief you on this, all right? Good to chat to you guys. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're enjoying your pre-season predictor. And I will chat to you guys in a little while. The Premier League is back upon us, everyone. How could I not have predicted an Arsenal win? It's really good to chat to you. Please stick around on the channel for a little while. I really enjoy spending time with you guys. I really enjoy making these videos. And I kind of want to make this a bigger thing. It's hard because I need to pay the bills. You know how the last year's been, right? But we make the best of the world that we live in. Let's do that together. If you haven't already hit subscribe, hit it down there. Thank you so much for 68k subscribers. We are going for the 100, at least in the next couple of months. We've got to grow this channel. We're going to put out some documentaries soon, and I mean real documentaries, not just we're going to do some real stuff. It's good to chat to you guys. I will chat to you later. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Enjoy. Just join me later. Just subscribe. I'll see you later.